The reason the company became MSA registered is it's a good benchmarking platform where we can assess the performance of the cattle. We can identify the areas that we need to improve on and the areas that we are doing well and modify our management practices from there.
Reardon Operations' compliance to MSA minimum requirements has been fantastic. They've dropped 3 head in 519 for the last 2 financial years for those animals that have been sent into an MSA market.
Yeah, I suppose I'd describe the feedlot as a value-adding setup for the farm. We turn our own weaners into it and use the grain that we produce on farm to finish them off. As soon as they're weaned, we put them on native pasture generally, and then onto improved pasture or fodder crops that we've planted for the purpose of fattening them. And then once they get to hopefully around that 300 kilos, we look to put them in the feedlot and finish them, and they're fed religiously at the same time once a day every morning. The mix may differ from wheat, chickpeas, depending what we produce on farm, to cottonseed or barley.
The ossification scores they're getting from their cattle are around that 130, 140 mark, so quite low. And also the MSA marble scores they're getting are in the mid 300s. So again, quite good scores for the type of feeding job that they're doing.
It's all about improving the eating quality of the beef here, and things we target on to help that are, one, not letting the cattle run out of feed through that period where they're on crop and grass before they come into the feedlot. Introducing them to a bit of grain and forage before they enter the feedlot. And the other big thing is just the management and the advice that we get.
We do feed to finish in the feedlot, but because Reardon Operations controls pretty much all of the inputs into the feedlot, so we're not constrained to feeding to a minimum of 50 days or 60 days or a maximum of 120 or 150. We simply feed the cattle until they reach a level where we think they'll get the best market acceptability.
One of the big things that other producers could take away from Reardon's is around the feeding system. They're providing these animals with top quality nutrition for the last 70+ days of their life, and that's really setting them up for success when it comes to non-compliance to that high pH condition. These animals are topped up with feed, they're not stressed when they leave the feedlot, and it's really making sure that they're able to be packed into an MSA brand.